Alright, now we all know what a conch is, right? But mollusk simply means sea snails. We know we got snails on the ground outside, right? And you know snails don't really like saltiness, but there's a type of snail called a mollusk that lives in the ocean so they can deal with high salinity, alright? So mollusks, these type of animals, you break down that category even further. We have a category called gastropods, okay? A lot of the words you see used in science, they mean something in a different language. Anyone know what that language is? Latin, yes, yeah, who said it? Good stuff, right? So gastropod is that category falling under the mollusk. All right, so gastropod means stomach foot. Okay, gastro stomach, pod foot. How do snails move? They move on their belly, right? So it's a stomach foot. Yeah, exactly. All right, so these animals move very, very slowly. So what is their line of defense?
That shell.
That shell, exactly. That shell that we see that's so beautiful that tourists want to come and use, put as decoration. You know, we pretty much discard them because, you know, we like conch for the meat. But the shell itself is used in many different applications, not just as a paperweight or as decoration. That shell can be broken down.
They can shape it.
They could shape it into things, but it can also be pulverized and used for the particles, all right? Now, what is that shell made of? And does anyone know what the conch shell is actually made of?
I think it's like a rock, like.
Are you both right? Rock, sand, that's what the shell is made out of. That's what it is, okay? We are basically in the Bahamas, our whole landmass is made out of calcium carbonate, all right? And these mollusks have the ability to absorb that calcium carbonate from the ocean and layer it to make the shell that they're in, okay? So us talking about the life cycle of the conch has to start from, I guess we'll start from reproduction, okay? How do the conchs have babies? How do they spawn? That's the word we use in science. Egg mass, okay? It's something that sort of looks like a piece of paper. I can draw it out real quick. Yeah. But an egg mass is a sac. You know, different animals can give birth to live young. We call it having a viviparous nature, but some animals have a oviparous nature. They give birth to eggs, okay? So they basically, the conch can have, anyone can take a guess of how much babies at one time can a conch have? How much eggs can it lay?
Piece of paper.
I can need something a little bigger than that. I got 8,000, 100,000, 2,000, 1,000, 3,000. All right, all good guesses. How about 500,000? Why would an animal need to have, good? Huh?
Sell it for 100,000.
Sell for, no. Well, we get to that later, but yeah, one conch in one setting can have 500,000 babies at one time. This is to ensure the continuity of the species. It is an animal that gets eaten by a lot of things, okay? Conch is low on the food chain, okay? Name me a top predator, something that's high in the food chain. Sharks, exactly. So they won't have to have as many babies as a conch would because conch, everything eats conch. You got spotted eagle rays, they eat conch. You have other types of species of conch that eat conch. Okay, so turtles. Well,
Octopus.
yeah. So yeah, you got a couple. You got the idea. A lot of things eat the conch, so that's have a lot of babies. So they lay this egg, this sack of eggs up to 500,000, and they can do that 5 to 6 times a summer. So that's a lot of babies, right? So all these babies are making sure that the species has an opportunity to continue, okay? So we dealt with the babies. Now, how do these babies hatch? In about 5 days, that accordion sac will hatch these babies. They'll come, yeah, it'll burst open. These babies will then go into the ground, into the sand, okay, and they'll bury themselves. Because the conch doesn't just start off like a big old conch one time. They have to grow into that. Then what is that transformation process known as? You might have heard it in science. It begins with an M.
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, okay? Exactly. So they'll go through this metamorphosis. And they have to bury themselves in the sand to grow a little bit. Okay, just like y'all have to grow, eat, you grow. What does the conch eat? Anyone know what they eat? They're herbivores, so that's a hint. What do they eat? No.
Stay in the water.
No, that's carnivores. Plants. She said it, plants, okay? So, at that size,
Algae.
algae, yeah, exactly. Way to go, okay?